संसारदावानलिललोका त्रणय कारुण्यघनघना त्वं प्राप्तस्य कल्याणगुणर्णवस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणरविन्दम् महाप्रभु कीर्तन नृत्य गीता वादित्रमाद्यान् मनसोरसेवा
His Divine Grace. Prabhupada Vrinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBTPI founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Shnupada Pramhamsa Prajaka Acharya Shtota Shata Shishmat His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Premise Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navadvip Dham Mayapur Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Chaitra Jagannath Dham Ki Jai. Shri Ayodhya Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samavrita Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Lad Daine, Prahlad Lad Daine, Hiranyakashipurvakshaha, Hiranyakashipurvakshaha, Shilatankanakalaye, Shilatankanakalaye, Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimho, Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimho, Yeto Yeto Yami Tato Narsimha, Yeto Yeto Yami Tato Narsimha, Bahir Narsimho, Hridaye Narsimho, Bahir Narsimho, Hridaye Narsimho, Narasimha Madim Sharanam Prapadye, Narasimha Sharanam Prapadye, Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare, Jai Jagadisha Hare, जय जगदीश हरे। जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय भक्ता प्रहलाद 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 जय भक्ता जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव। विघ्न विनाशक लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।
वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय पियाय केशव सच विष्णु पार्थिव पते देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय पियाय केशव सच विष्णु पार्थिव पते देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय पियाय केशव सच विष्णु पार्थिव पते देवी सत्यवताय नमो नमः। वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाबो यही अभिलाषी। नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः। जे तुम्हारा शरण लोए तारा वंचा पूर्ण हो। कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी। मोरा यही अभिलाष, विलास कुंज दियो बास। नयने हरिवो सदा, जुगल रूप राशि। यही निवेदन धारो सखी अनुगत करो, सेवाधिकार दिए करो निज दासी। दीना कृष्णा दासे कोय, यही जे ना मोरा होए। श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा जिन भाषी। श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा जिन भाषी। श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेमे सदा जिन भाषी। यानि कानि च पापानि, ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च, तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे। यानि कानि च पापानि, ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च, तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जायो तुलसी महारानी, जायो तुलसी महारानी, जायो तुलसी महारानी, जायो तुलसी महारानी। जायो वृंदा देवी, जायो वृंदा देवी, जायो वृंदा देवी, जायो वृंदा देवी। नित्य गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, नित्य गौर हरि बोल। वृंदा देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय। वृंदाए तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव शिजा विष्णु भक्ति करे देवी सत्य बताए नमो नमः। वृंदाए तुलसी देवाय वृंदाए तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव शिजा विष्णु भक्ति करे देवी सत्य बताए नमो नमः। वृंदाए तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव शिजा विष्णु भक्ति करे देवी सत्य बताए नमो नमः।
O Tulasi, beloved of Krishna, I bow down before you again and again. My desire is in the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has wish fulfilled. Bestow mercy upon him and make him a resident of Vrindavan. My desire also to have a residence in the precious house of Shri Vrindavan Dham. Thus within my vision shows the beautiful house of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to meet me follow the confidence of virtue. Please give me a privilege to listen to the story and make me your own maidservant. This very fallen lowly servant of Krishna praise. May I always swim the love Shri Radha and Govinda. Srimati Tulasi Maharani ki jai. There are 10 fences in the method chanting holy names that should be avoided, and they are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotees of dedicate their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of the demigods, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, to be equal to independent and name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature pursuing the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna as imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider chanting Hare Krishna with auspicious ritualistic activities, offering the Veda the fruity activities, Karma, Ganda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about glory's holy name. 10. To not complete faith in the chanting holy names, and to maintain material attachments in understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisance unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just as trees who can fulfill to everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Jeto Darpana Marjanam Pava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pradipadam Purnamita Sadhanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatra Pita Niyamita Smaranena Kalaha Etadishi Tava Kripa Bhagavam Mamapi Durudevami Disham Iha Janina Nurakaha Trinatapi Sunijena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Harihi Na Thanam Na Janam Na Sundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Jamani Jamani Shvare Bhavata Bhaktir Haituki Toyi Ayinanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Ham Vishame Bhavam Puta Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stitha Turi Satisham Vichintaya Nayanam Galadashuru Dharaya Vadanam Gadgada Rudaya Gira Pulakai Nichitam Vapurkada Tavanama Grahane Bhavishati Yuga itam nimishena chakshusha pravisha itam shunya itam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me ashrishava padaratam pinnashtumam adarshanam marmahatam karotuva yatha tatha va vidathatu lampato matprana nathastu se eva na paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is prime benediction of humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It's the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone grants all benediction to human beings. Thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have vested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, our kindness enables us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate to have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking yourself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor to desire beautiful women, nor to want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Mahajananda Krishna, I am an eternal servitor, yet somehow I fall in the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the Adam's and lotus feet. O my Lord, while my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name, while my voice choke up or hurts my body stand and recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I consider the moment to be like a great millennium. Tears are flowing from eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord. He shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipable Lord, unconditional. Shri Chaitanya Shikshastakam ki jai. Shri Mangala Charana prayers ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Desha Tarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanivi Devi Daidaya Kripaptaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhavin Namaha Madhuryo Jala Prematya Shri Rupa Nuga Bhaktita Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dina Darine Rupa Nuga Virudapa Siddhanta Dvanta Harine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipalamba Rasam Bodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaura Virpava Bhumistvam Nirdeshta Sajana Priyaha Vaishnava Sava Bhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupyevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishin Namaha Pancha Tattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bando Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Srato Pango Mama Manda Mater Gati Masarva Swapadam Bojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vindaranya Kalpadu Mata Shimadrana Kara Singhasanasto Shimadratha Shila Govinda Devo Prishtaripi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasarambi Vamshiva Tatatastitaha Karsham Venu Saner Gopir Gopinatha Shiyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Thatara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Mangala Charana prayers ki jai. Shri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadya Radya Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Chintamani Parakara Satmasu Kalpa Viksha Laksharviteshu Surabi Rabi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Paramasevymanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Kavanantam Aravinda Dalaya Daksham Parhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kantarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shopam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Alola Chantakala Savanamare Vamshi Ranangadam Panayakiri Kalavilasam Shamam Chipanga Lalitam Niyatapakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashanti banti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chimma satujala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami advaitam achotam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha vedeshu durlabam adurlabam atma bhakta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Bantastu Koti Shatavasara Sampragamyo Vayuratapi Manaso Munipangavaanam Sopiasti Yapapada Simya Vichinta Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ekopya Sarachayitum Jagatanta Kotim Yachakti Rasti Jagatanta Chayaya Tantaha Antantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Yad Bhava Pavitadiyo Manujasthateva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasana Yana Pushaha Suktayam Eva Nigama Patitai Stuvanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Pajami Ananda Chimma Rasa Patibhavitapis Tapiya Eva Njarupa Taya Kalapihi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhutto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Churuta Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sateva Hitayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundam Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtishu Kalaniyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Puvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhava Paramapumamyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Krishna, who is Govinda, the Supreme Godhead, has the internal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin and the prime cause of all causes.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with moon locket, whose two hands are adorned with a flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shamasundara is eternally manifest.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose transcendental form is full of bliss, truth, substantiality, and thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of that transcendental figure possesses himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is inaccessible to the Vedas but obtainable by pure unalloyed devotion of the soul, who is without a second, who is not subject to decay, is without a beginning, whose form is endless, who is the beginning and the eternal Purusha. It is the person possessing the beauty of blooming youth.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years.
He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In his work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him and is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore.
I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra suktas told by the Vedas, by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveniences, and ornaments.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, residing in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha resembling his own spiritual figure, the embodiment of the ecstatic potency possessed of the 64 artistic activities in the company of her confident Sakhis, embodiments of the extensions of her bodily form, permeated and vitalized by his ever blissful spiritual rasa.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is Shyamasundara, Krishna himself with inconceivable, innumerable attributes, whom the pure devotees see in the heart of hearts with eye of devotion, tinged with the salve of love.
I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who manifested himself personally as Krishna in the different avatars in the world in the forms of Rama, Nrsimha, Vamana, etc. as is subject to portions. Sri Brahma Samhita ki jai. Bhagavad Gita 7.1 Purport. Srinvatam swakata Krishna punya sravana kirtanaha hridayanta hi sohi abhadrani vidunoti suhritsatam nasta prayesva abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhasdayaschaye cheta eter anavidam sitam satve prasidati एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद भक्ति योगतः भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगश्च जायते विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथेश्चिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते च कर्माणि दृष्टा एव आत्मनीश्वरे. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as the best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice diminish. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service and understands the signs of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamsayam Samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead, Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the signs of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 17. Uttarayam drutha puror vamsa sadhva abhimanyuna savaidrunni astra samplustaha punar bhagavata drutaha. Uttarayam, unto Uttara, drutaha, conceived, puroh, of Puru, vamsaha, descended, sadhu abhimanyuna, by the hero Abhimanyu, saha, he, wise, certainly, Drauni Astra, by the weapon of Drauni, the son of Drona, Samplustaha, being burnt, Punaha, again for the second time, Bhagavata, by the personality of Godhead, Drutaha, was protected. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The embryo of Puru's descendant, begotten by the great hero Abhimanyu in the womb of Uttara, his wife, was burned by the weapon of the son of Drona, but later he was again protected by the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The embryonic body of Parikshit, which was in formation after Uttara's pregnancy, pregnancy by Abhimanyu, the great hero, was burned by the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, but a second body was given by the Lord within the womb, and thus the descendant of Puru was saved. This incident is a direct proof that the body and the living entity, the spiritual part, are different. When the living entity takes shelter in the womb of a woman through the injection of a semen of a man, there is an emulsification of the man's and woman's discharges, and thus a body is formed, the size of a pea, gradually developing into a complete body. But if the developing embryo is destroyed in some way or other, the living entity has to take shelter in another body or in the womb of another woman. The particular living entity who was selected to be the descendant of Maharaja Puru or the Pandavas was not an ordinary living entity, and by the superior will of the Lord he was destined to be the successor to Maharaja Yudhishthira. Therefore, when Ashwadhama destroyed the embryo of Maharaja Parikshit, the Lord, by his own internal potency, entered into the womb of Uttara by his plenary portion, just to give audience to the would-be Maharaja Parikshit, who was in great danger. By his appearance within the womb, the Lord encouraged the child and gave him complete protection in a new body by his omnipotency. By his power of omnipresence, he was present both inside and outside of Uttara and other members of the Pandava family. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 18. Ayajaya dharma sutam aswamedhai stribhir vibhuhu sopi kshamam anujai rakshan reme krishnam anuvrataha. Ayajayat, made to perform, dharma sutam, by the son of Dharma, Maharaj Yudhishthira, Aswamedhai, by horse sacrifices, Tribihi, three, Vibhuhu, the Supreme Lord, Saha, Maharaj Yudhishthira, Api, also, Kshamam, the earth, Anujai, assisted by his younger brothers, Rakshan, protecting, Reme, enjoyed, Krishnam, Krishna, the personality of Godhead, Anuvrata, constant follower. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord induced the son of Dharma to perform 3 horse sacrifices. Dhamma and Maharaja Yudhishthira, constantly following Krishna, the personality of Godhead, protected and enjoyed the earth, assisted by his younger brothers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaja Yudhishthira was the ideal monarchical representative on the earth because he was a constant follower of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. As stated in the Vedas, Ishopanishad, the Lord is the proprietor of the entire manifested cosmic creation, which presents a chance for the conditioned souls to revive their eternal relationship with the Lord and thus go back to Godhead, back home. The whole system of the material world is arranged with that program and plan. Anyone who violates the plan is punished by the law of nature, which is acting by the direction of Supreme Lord. Maharaja Yudhishthira was installed on the throne of the earth as a representative of the Lord. The king is always expected to be the representative of the Lord. Perfect monarchy necessitates representation of the supreme will of the Lord, and Maharaja Yudhishthira was the ideal monarch on this supreme principle. Both the king and the subjects were happy in the discharge of worldly duties, and thus protection of the citizens and enjoyment of natural life with full cooperation of material nature, followed in the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira and his worthy descendants like Maharaj Parikshit. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 19. Bhagavan api visvatma loka veda patanugaha kamansi seve dvarvavatyam asaktaha sankyam astitaha. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, api, also, Vishwa Atma, the super soul of the universe, Loka, customary, Veda, Vedic principles, Pada Anugaha, follower of the path, Kaman, the necessities of life, Sisevi, enjoyed, Dvara, in the city of Dwaraka, Asaktaha, without being attached, Sankyam, knowledge in Sankhya philosophy, Astitaha, being situated. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Jai. Simultaneously, the personality of Godhead enjoyed life in the city of Dwarka, strictly in conformity with Vedic customs of society. He was situated in detachment and knowledge, as enunciated by the Sankhya system of philosophy. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. While Maharaj Yudhishthira was the emperor of the earth, Lord Sri Krishna was the king of Dwarka and was known as Dwarakadisha. Like other subordinate kings, he was under the regime of Maharada Yudhishthira. Although Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme emperor of the entire creation, while he was on this earth, he never violated the principles of the Vedic injunctions because they are the guide for human life. Regulated human life according to the Vedic principles, which are based on the system of knowledge called Sankhya philosophy, is a real way of enjoyment of the necessities of life. Without such knowledge, detachment, and custom, the so called human civilization is no more than an animal society of eat, drink, be merry, and enjoy. The Lord was acting freely as he willed, yet by his practical example, he taught not to lead a life which goes against the principles of detachment and knowledge. Attainment of knowledge and detachment, as very elaborately discussed in Sankhya philosophy, is the real perfection of life. Knowledge means to know that the mission of the human form of life is to end all the miseries of material existence, and that in spite of having to fulfill the bodily necessities in a regulated way. One must be detached from such animal life. Fulfilling the demands of the body is animal life, and fulfilling the mission of spirit soul is the human mission. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 20. Snigdha smitavalokeena vacha piyusha kalpaya चरित्रेण नवाद्येन श्रीनिकेतन चात्मना. Snigdha, gentle, Smita avalokena, by glance with a sweet smile, Vacha, by words, Piyusha kalpaya, compared to nectar, Charitrena, by character, Anavadhyena, without flaw, Sri, fortune, Niketena, dissidence, Cha, and Atmana, by his transcendental body. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He was there in his transcendental body, the residence of the goddess of fortune, with his usual gentle and sweetly smiling face, his nectarian words, and his flawless character. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the previous verse, it is described that Lord Krishna, being situated in the truths of Sankhya philosophy, he is detached from all kinds of matter. In the present verse, it is described that he is the residence of the goddess of fortune. These two things are not at all contradictory. Lord Krishna is detached from the variegatedness of the inferior nature, but he is in eternal blissful enjoyment of the spiritual nature, or his internal potency. One who has a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand this distinction between the extent and external and internal potencies. In Bhagavad Gita, the internal potency is described as the Paraprakriti. In the Vishnu Purana, also the internal potency of Vishnu is described as Parasakti. The Lord is never detached from the association of Parasakti. This Parasakti and her manifestations are described in the Brahma Samhita 5.37 as Ananda Chinnamaya Rasa Pratibhavita Bhihi. The Lord is eternally joyful and cognizant in the taste derived from such transcendental bliss. Negation of the variegatedness of the inferior energy does not necessitate negation of the positive transcendental bliss of the spiritual world. Therefore, the Lord's gentleness, his smile, his character, and everything related to him are all transcendental. Such manifestations of the internal potency are the reality of which the material shadow is only a temporary representation, from which everyone with proper knowledge must be detached.
Text 21, Canto 3, Chapter 3. Ivam lokam amum chaiva ramayan sutaram yadun Vremi kshena daya datta kshena sri kshena sauhrudaha. Imam, this, lokam, earth, amum, and the other world, cha, also, eva, certainly, ramayan, pleasing, sutaram, specifically, yadun, the yadus, reme, enjoyed, kshenadaya, by night, datta, given by, kshena, leisure, stri, with women, kshena, conjugal love, Sauhrada, friendship. Translation. The Lord enjoyed his pastimes with both in this world and in other worlds, higher planets, specifically in the association of Yadu dynasty. At leisure hours offered by night, he enjoyed the friendship of conjugal love with women. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Lord enjoyed in this world with his pure devotees, although he is the personality of Godhead and is transcendental to all material attachment, he nevertheless exhibited Much attachment for his pure devotees on the earth, as well as for the demigods who engage in his service in the heavenly planets, as powerful delegated directors in the management of all material activities. He displayed special attachment for his family members, the Edus, as well as for his 16,000 wives, who had the opportunity to meet him in the leisure hours of night. All these attachments of the Lord are manifestations of his internal potency, of which the external potency is only a shadow representation. In the Skanda Purana, Prabhasa Kanda, in the topics between Lord Shiva and Gauri, there is confirmation of his internal potential manifestation. There is mention of the Lord's meeting with 16,000 cowherd damsels, although he is the Hamsa, transcendental supersoul and maintainer of all living entities. The 16,000 cowherd damsels are a display of 16 varieties of internal potencies. These will be more elaborately explained in the 10th canto. It is said there that Lord Krishna is just like the moon, and the internal potential damsels are like the stars around the moon.
तशैवं राममानस्य संवत्सर गुणान् बाहुन् गृहामेदेषु योगेषु विरागः समाजयत. Word to word.
Tasya, his evam thus, Ramamanasya, enjoying samvatsara, years, Ganan, many, Bahun, great many, Grahamedeshu, in household life, Yogeshu, in sex life, Viraga, detachment, Samajayata, awakened.
You said ears, not years. Translation. The Lord was thus engaged in household life for many, many years, but at last his detachment from ephemeral sex life was fully manifested. Question is detachment from ephemeral text life was fully manifested. Can you read the translation? Like this means it's like bad.
Good. Everything out.
Purport. Even though the Lord is never attached to any kind of material sex life, as the universal teacher, he remained a householder for many, many years. But to teach others how one should live in just to teach others how to live in householder life, Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura explains the word samajayata means fully exhibited. In all his activities, while present on the earth, the Lord exhibited detachment. This was fully displayed when he wanted to teach by example that one should not remain attached to household life for all the days of one's life. One should naturally develop detachment as a matter of course. The Lord's detachment from household life does not indicate detachment from his eternal associates. The transcendental cowherd damsels, but the Lord desired to end his so-called attachment to the three modes of material nature. He can never be detached from the service of his transcendental associates, like Rukmini and other goddesses of fortune. As described in the Brahma Samhita 5.20 Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrahma se Lakshmi Sahasrasatasambharam Sevyamanam. That's it.
Text 23, Canto 3, Chapter 3. Daivadineshu kameshu daivadinas swayam puman ko vishram veda yogena yogeshwaram anuvrataha. Daiva supernatural, adineshu being controlled, kameshu in sense enjoyment, daivadinaha controlled by supreme force, swayam himself, puman living entity, ka whoever, Vishram Beta can have faith in Yogena by devotional service. Yogeshwaram, the Supreme Lord, Anuvrataha serving. Translation: every living entity is controlled by supernatural force, and thus his sense enjoyment is also under the control of that supernatural force. No one therefore can put his faith in Lord Krishna's transcendental sense activities but one who has become a devotee of the Lord by rendering devotional service. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, no one can understand the transcendental birth and activities of the Lord. The same fact is herein corroborated. No one but one who is enlightened by the devotion service of the Lord can understand the difference between the Lord's activities and those of others, who are controlled by the supernatural force. The sense enjoyment of all animals, men, and demigods within the purview of the material universe is controlled by the supernatural force called the Prakriti or Daivi Maya. No one is independent in obtaining sense enjoyment, and everyone in this material world is after sense enjoyment. Persons who are themselves under the control of supernatural power cannot believe that Lord Krishna is under any control beyond himself, is not under any control beyond himself in the matter of sense enjoyment. They cannot understand that his senses are transcendental. In the Brahma Samhita, the Lord's senses are described as omnipotent, that is, with any sense he can perform the activities of other senses. One who has limited senses cannot believe that the Lord can eat by his transcendental power of hearing and can perform the act of sex life simply by seeing. The controlled living entity cannot even dream of such sense activities in the conditional life. But simply by the activities of Bhakti Yoga, he can understand that the Lord and his activities are always transcendental. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, Bhakti amam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. One cannot know even a fraction of the activities of the Lord if he is not a pure devotee of the Lord.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, Text 24. Puryam kadachet kritabdhir yaduboja kumarakai kopita munaya sepur bhagavan mata kovidaha Puryam in the city of Dwaraka. Kadachit, once upon a time. Kridabdihi, by his sporting activities. Yadu, the descendants of Yadu. Boja, the descendants of Boja. Kumarakai, princess. Kopitaha, became angry. Munaya, the great sages. Sepuhu, cursed. Bhagavat, the personality of Godhead. Mata, desire. Kovidaha, cognizant. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Once upon a time, great sages were made angry by the sporting activities of the princely descendants of the Yadu and Boja dynasties, and thus, as desired by the Lord, the sages cursed them. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The associates of the Lord who were playing the part of princely descendants of the Yadu and Boja dynasties were not ordinary living entities. It is not possible that they could offend any saintly man or sage, nor could the sages, who are all pure devotees of the Lord, be influenced to anger by any of the sporting activities of the princes born in the holy dynasties of the Yadu or Boja, wherein the Lord himself appeared as a descendant. The cursing of the princes by the sages was another transcendental pastime of the Lord to make a show of anger. The princes were cursed in order that one may know that even the descendants of the Lord, who could never be vanquished by any act of material nature, was subjected to the reactions of anger by great devotees of the Lord. One should therefore take great care and attention not to commit an offense at the feet of a devotee of the Lord.
23rd? I told you not to call me that. Tata kati payar masair. Tata kati payar masair. Vrishni bojindaka dayah. Yayuhu prabhasham samhrista ratay deva vimohitaha.
Tada thereafter, Katipayai, a few Masai months passing, Vrishni, the descendants of Vrishni, Boja, the descendants of Boja, Andakadayaha, and others like the sons of Andaka, Yayu went Prabhasam, the place of pilgrimage, named Prabhasa, Samhristaha with great pleasure, Radaihi and the chariots, Deva by Krishna, Vimohitaha bewildered.
Translation. A few months passed, and then bewildered by Krishna, all the descendants of Vrishni, Boja, and Andaka, who were incarnations of demigods, went to Prabhasa, while those who were eternal devotees of the Lord did not leave but remained in Dwaraka.
Text 26, Canto 3, Chapter 3. Tatra snatva pitrun devan rishim shaiva tadambasa tarpyayitvata viprebhyo gavo bahuguna daduhu. Tatra there snatva, by taking bath, pitrun forefather, devan demigods, rishin great sages, cha also, eva certainly, tat of that, ambasa by the water, Paitva, by pleasing, atha, thereupon, viprebhyaha, unto the Brahmanas, gavaha, cows, bahugunaha, greatly useful, daduh, gave in charity. Translation. After arriving there, all of them took bath, and with the water of this place of pilgrimage, they offered their respects to the forefathers, demigods, and great sages, and thus satisfied them. They gave cows to the Brahmanas in royal charity. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Amongst the devotees of the Lord, there are several divisions, mainly Nitya Siddhas and Sadhana Siddhas. The Nitya Siddhas devotees never fall down to the region of material atmosphere, even though they sometimes come onto the material plane to execute mission of the Lord. The Sadhana Siddhas devotees are chosen from the conditioned soul. Out of the Sadhana devotees, there are mixed and pure devotees. The mixed devotees are sometimes enthusiastic about fruitive activities and are habituated to philosophical speculation. The pure devotees are free from all these mixtures and are completely absorbed in the service of the Lord, regardless of how and where they are situated. Pure devotees of the Lord are not enthusiastic to put aside their service to the Lord in order to go visit holy places of pilgrimage. A great devotee of the Lord in modern times, Sri Narottama Dasa Thakura, has sung like this: to visit holy places of pilgrimage is another bewilderment of the mind, because devotional service to the Lord at any place is the last word in spiritual perfection. To visit holy places of pilgrimage is another bewilderment of the mind, because devotional service to the Lord at any place is the last word in spiritual perfection. For pure devotees of the Lord who are completely satisfied with the transcendental loving service of the Lord, there is hardly any necessity to visit the various places of pilgrimage. But those who are not so advanced have the prescribed duties of visiting pilgrimage sites and regularly performing the rituals. The part of the princely order of the Yadu dynasty who went to Prabhasa performed all duties to be done in place of pilgrimage and offered their pious actions to their forefathers and others. As a rule, every human being is indebted to God, the demigods, great sages, and other living entities, people in general, forefathers, etc., for various contributions received from them. Thus, everyone is obliged to repay the debt of gratitude. The Yadus who went to Prabhasa pilgrimage site performed their duties by distributing land, gold, and well-nourished cows in royal charity, as described in the following verse.
Text 27. Hiranyam rajatam sayam Hiranyam rajatam sayam rasamsiya jina kambalan yanam ratan niban kanya daram vritti karimapi.
Hiranyam gold, Rajatam gold coins, Savyam bedding, Vasamsi clothing, Ajina animal skin for seeds, Kambalan blankets, Yanam horses, Radhan chariots, Iban elephants, Kanya girls, Dharam land, Vrittikarim to prove livelihood, Api also.
Translation. The Brahmanas were not only given well-fed cows in charity, but also gold coins, bedding, clothing, animal skin seats, blankets, horses, elephants, girls, and sufficient land for maintenance. Why does it say girls? Purport. All these charities were meant for the Brahmanas, but whose lives were devoted entirely to the welfare of society, both spiritually and materially. The Brahmanas were not giving their services as paid servants, but the society provided them well with all necessities. It was arranged for some of the Brahmanas who were in difficult for marriage to be given girls. The Brahmanas, therefore, had no economic problems. The Kshatriya kings and rich mercantile Brahmanas were completely devoted to the elevation of society. That was the way of social cooperation between the different castes. When the Brahmana class or caste gradually became easygoing, being fed by the society, although they had no Brahmanical qualifications, they degraded themselves into Brahma bandhus or disqualified Brahmanas. And thus other members of the society also gradually fell down from the social standards of progressive life. As described in the Bhagavad Gita, the caste system is the creation of the Lord and is arranged according to the quality of work rendered to society, and not in terms of birthright, as falsely claimed in the present degraded society.
Text 28, Canto 3, Chapter 3. Annam charu rasam tebhyo datva bhagavad arpanam govi pradasavasura pranemurbuvi murdavihi. Annam, foodstuff, cha also, uru rasam, highly delicious, tebhyaha, unto the Brahmanas, datva, after supplying. Bhagavat Arpanam, which was first offered to the personality of Godhead, go, cows. Vipra, Brahmanas, earth, the purpose. Asavaha, purpose of living. Suraha, all the valiant Kshatriyas. Pranemuhu, offered obeisances. Bhuvi, touching the ground. Murdavihi, with their heads. Translation. Thereafter, they offered the Brahmanas highly delicious foodstuffs. First offered to the personality of Godhead and offered their respectful obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. They lived perfectly by protecting the cows and the Brahmanas. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The behavior exhibited by the descendants of Yadu in the pilgrimage site of Pravasa was highly cultured and exactly to the point of human perfection. The perfection of human life is attained by following three principles of civilization: protecting the cows, maintaining the Brahmanical culture, and above all, becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. Without becoming a devotee of the Lord, one cannot perfect one's human life. The perfection of human life is to be elevated to the spiritual world, where there is no birth, no death, no disease, and no old age. That is the highest perfectional aim of human life. Without this aim, any amount of material advancement in so-called comforts can only bring the defeat of the human form of life. Brahmanas and Vaishnavas do not accept any foodstuff which is not first offered to the personality of Godhead. Foodstuff offered to the Lord is accepted by the devotees as the mercy of the Lord. After all, the Lord supplies all kinds of foodstuff both to the human being and to the other animals. A human being must be conscious of the fact that all foodstuffs, namely grains, vegetables, milk, water, etc., the prime necessities of life, are supplied for mankind by the Lord, and such foodstuffs cannot be manufactured by any scientist or materialist in a laboratory or factory established by human effort. The intelligent class of men are called Brahmanas, and those who have realized the absolute truth in his supreme personal feature are called Vaishnavas. But both of them accept foodstuffs which are the remnants of sacrifice. Sacrifice is ultimately meant to satisfy the Yajna Purusha, Vishnu. In Bhagavad Gita 3.13 it is said that one who accepts foodstuffs as the remnants of sacrifice is freed from all sinful reactions, and one who cooks foodstuffs for maintenance of his body takes in all kinds of sins, which lead only to suffering. The foodstuffs prepared by the Yadus and at the Pravasa pilgrimage site to offer to the bona fide Brahmanas, they were all offered to the personality of Godhead Vishnu. The Yadus offered their sincere obeisances by touching their heads to the ground. Yadus or any enlightened family in Vedic culture are trained for attainment of human perfection by total cooperation of service between the different divisions of social orders. The word Uru Rasam is also significant here. Hundreds of delicacies can be prepared simply by the combination of grains, vegetables, and milk. All such preparations are in the mode of goodness and therefore may be offered to the personality of Godhead. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 9.26, the Lord accepts only foodstuffs which are within the range of fruits, flowers, leaves, and liquids, provided they are offered in complete devotional service. Devotional service is the only criterion for a bona fide offering to the Lord. The Lord assumes that he positively eats such foodstuffs offered by the devotees. So, judging from all sides, those who are perfectly trained, civilized person, and their being cursed by the Brahmana sages was only by the desire of the Lord. The whole incident was a warning to all concerned that no one should behave lightly with Brahmanas and Vaishnavas.
Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of the third canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Lord's Pastimes out of Vrindavana.
Next, chapter 4.
I need a thing to put it on. Uddhava uvacha atate tad अनुज्ञाता भुक्त्वा पित्वा च वारुणिं तया विभ्रांसीत ज्ञान दुरिक्तैर्मर्म प्रस्पृशुः.
Uddhava Vacha, Uddhava said, Ata thereafter, the Yadavas, that by the Brahmanas, Anugnata being permitted, Bhuktva after partaking, Pitva drinking, Cha and Varunim liquor, Taya by that, Vibramsita Gnana being bereft of knowledge, Duruktai with harsh words, Marma the core of the heart, Pashprushu touched.
Thereafter, all of the descendants of Vrishni and Bhoja, being permitted by the Brahmanas, partook of the remnants of prasada and drank liquor made of rice. Also drank liquor made of rice. What the?
Liquor made from rice.
Is that good or bad?
Bad, it's alcohol.
It's made of rice, right?
I'll tell you how to explain.
By drinking, they all become delirious and bereft of knowledge. They touch the cores of each other's hearts with harsh words. In ceremonies, when Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are sousely fed, the host partakes of the remnants of foodstuff after the guest has given permission. So the descendants of Vrishni and Bhoja formally took permission from the Brahmanas and ate the prepared foodstuff. Kshatriyas are permitted to drink at certain occasions. So they drank a kind of light liquor made. They all drank a kind of light liquor made of rice. By such drinking, they become ridiculous and bereft of sense, delirious and bereft. Whatever that means. So much so that they forgot their relationship with one another and used harsh words which touched the course of each other's heart. Drinking is so harmful that even such a highly cultured family becomes attracted by intoxication and can forget themselves in a drunken state. The descendants of Vrishni and Bhoja were not expected to forget themselves in this way, but by the will of the Supreme Lord, by the will of the Supreme it happened, and thus they became harsh towards one another.
Text 2. Tesham aireya doshina Visamikita chetasam nimlochati ravaus asid venunam yuvamardanam tesam of them maireya of intoxication doshina. Doshina by the faults. Visamikita became unbalanced chetasam of those whose minds. Nimlochati sets. Ravav the sun, Asit takes place. Venunam of the bamboos, Iva as Mardhanam destruction. Translation. As by the friction of bamboos destruction takes place, so also at sunset by the interaction of the faults of intoxication, all their minds became unbalanced and destruction took place. Purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When there is need of a fire in the forest, by the will of the Supreme, it takes place due to friction among the bamboos. Similarly, the descendants of Yadus were all destroyed by the will of the Lord by the process of self-destruction. Just as there is no possibility of a fire occurring deep in the forest due to human effort, so also there was no power in the universe which could vanquish the descendants of Yadu, who were protected by the Lord. The Lord wanted them to be destroyed, and thus they obeyed His order, as indicated by the word Tat Anugnata.
Bhagavan Swatma Mayaya Gatim Tam Avalokya Saha Saraswatim Upasprushya Vriksha Moolam Upavishat.
The Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Swatma Maya, by his internal potency, Gatim, the end, Tam, that, Avalokya, foreseeing, Sahi Krishna, Saraswatim, the river Saraswati, Upasprusha, after sipping water, Vrikshamulam, at the foot of a tree, Upavisha, sat down.
Translation. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, after foreseeing the end of his family, by his eternal potency, went to the bank of the river Saraswati, sipped water, and sat down underneath a tree. Purport. All the above mentioned activities of the Yadus and Bhojas were executed by the eternal potency of the Lord because he wanted them to be dispatched to their respective abodes after he had finished his mission of descent. They were all his sons and grandsons, and were given complete protection by the paternal affection of the Lord. How they could be vanquished in the presence of the Lord is answered in this verse. Everything was done by the Lord himself. Swatma Mayayaha. The Lord's family members were either incarnations of his plenary expansions or demigods from the heavenly planets. And thus, before his departure, he separated them by his eternal potency. Before being dispatched to their respective abodes, they were sent to the holy place of Prabhasa, where they performed pious activities and took food and drink to their heart's content. It was then arranged for them to be sent back to their abode so that others could see that the powerful Yadu dynasty was no longer in the world. In the previous verse, the word anugnata, indicating that the whole sequence of events was arranged by the Lord, is significant. These particular pastimes of the Lord are not a manifestation of his external energy or material nature. Such an exhibition of his eternal potency is eternal, and therefore one should not conclude that the Yadus and Bojas died in a drunken state in an ordinary critical war. Sri Jiva Goswami comments on these incidents as magical performances.
Text 4. Aham chokto bhagavata prapannarti harinaha badarim tvam prayahiti shvakulam sanjihirshuna. Aham Aicha and Uktaha was told Bhagavata by the Supreme Lord. Prapanna was surrendered. Arti Harena by he who is a vanquisher of the distresses. Ha, indeed, Badarim to Badari, Tvam you, Prayahe should go, iti thus. Dasvakulam, his own family, Sanji Krishna, who desired to destroy. Translation. The Lord is the vanquisher of the distresses of one who is surrendered unto him. Thus, he who desired to destroy his family told me previously to go to Badari Kashrama. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. While at Dwaraka, Uddhava was warned to avoid the distresses which were to follow the disappearance of the Lord and the destruction of the Yadu dynasty. He was advised to proceed to Badari Kashrama because there he could associate with the devotees of Naranarayana, and in their association of devotional service he could increase his eagerness for chanting, hearing, knowledge and detachment.
Tatapi tad abhipretam tatapi tad abhipret. Okay. Tatapi tad abhipretam jnanam aham arindana prishtato vigamambrubartuhu pada vishleshang shangakshamaha.
Tatapi, yet in spite of Tat Abhipratam, his desire, Jana, knowing, Aham, I, Aridama, O subduer of the enemy, Vidura, Prastataha, behind, Anvagavam, followed, birth of the Master, Pada Vishleshana, separation from his lotus feet, Akshamaha not being able.
Translation. Yet, in spite of the knowing his of my knowing his desire to destroy the dynasty of Anrindama, O Vidura, I follow. Yet, in spite of my knowing his desire to destroy, O Vidra, I follow. Oh God. Yet, in spite of my knowing his desire to destroy the dynasty of O Arindama Vidura, I followed him because it was impossible for me to bear separation from the lotus feet of the Master. It's time. Kantaraj Srimad. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Today we read up to Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text 5. We will continue reading to Text 6 tomorrow. Hare Krishna. We will start Guru Puja.
Do not play with it. 5, 4, 3. Don't do anything. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Okay, you can do. Okay. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma. मन्दमुयि सावधान माते जहरा प्रसादी बाई ए बाबा दुरिया जाए दर्शन प्राप्ति हो होते गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्या चिते कोरिया क्या अरना करी हो मानी आशा रे गुरु चेरानी रति ऐसे उत्तमा गति जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्वा आशा जय प्रसादे पूरे सर्वा आशा चक्षुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते वेदिकाय जहाँ रचरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अदमाजे नारा बंधु लोकेना लोके राजीवाना लोकना लोके राजीवाना आह प्रभु कोरो दो या देह मोरे पादा छाया ए बेजास गुसुक त्रिभुवाना लीला प्रभुपाद पतिता पावाना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिञ्जिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी भाष्यात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can enter pure devotion service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his mercy, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take the shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.